All right, here we are in number 5. This is where we will start in activity 1.2.5 in the MyPLTW IED course. So we're going to create this object in Fusion. Now it starts by saying to sketch a 20 millimeter by 30 millimeter rectangle, which might seem odd, but what we're going to do is create this with a revolve. So we're going to create basically half of this biggest chunk here to make. Now, as we start this, remember that this video is designed for you to pause and do as we go along and not try and memorize. Go ahead and get into your Fusion account. Go ahead and make sure that you are in your practice folder. And we're going to create a new component. Just get in the habit of doing that. Click OK over here, and we are now in that environment. We need to start a sketch. Now, remember this said we want to sketch on the front here, so you can choose either this plane or you can choose, I like clicking on the view cube. And we are now sketching. Now, I am currently, as long as you do this before you start sketching anything, we can go to document settings. Right now I'm in inches. I want to set that to millimeters because I believe, let's make sure, yes, that those dimensions are in millimeters. Okay. And now we're in our millimeter unit. So we're going to create a 20 by 30. It needs to be 20 high or 20 wide by 30 long, and it'll all come apparent to you soon. 2-point rectangle. We're going to hook on to the middle and pull outwards. Okay, so now I want that to be, remember you can tab back and forth. So I want the width to be 20, tab to the other one, and the height to be 30. Now you should have black lines. That means we're hooked up to here and we've defined the shape of this thing. Our next step says that we are going to finish the sketch and then revolve the rectangle 360 degrees around the 30 millimeter side. Let's do that. Finish sketch. We're now going to use a different thing. We've been using extrude. We haven't used revolve yet. So revolve is just an extrude that goes around an axis. I'm going to click revolve. We want that shape. It's already highlighted, and we're going to choose this edge right here. And notice that it revolved that shape around the edge. Click OK. Shift button and so on to kind of move it around, take a look at it. So we've got that basic cylinder. All right. Next, it says to sketch a 10 millimeter square centered on top of the cylinder, finish the sketch, and extrude the square 15 millimeters. So we're going to sketch up here. 2 ways to do it. I can say sketch here, or I can right click here and say make a sketch there. I think I'll right click on that surface and create a sketch, which brings that perpendicular to our vision. And we're going to make a rectangle. Now, this time, rather than corner to corner, I am going to come down here to find different types of rectangles. And notice there's a center one. That's the one I want this time. I'm going to click on the middle, click. Now keep in mind that this same stuff is going to be used next time, but I'm not going to give you a video for it. And it is 10 millimeters, tab 10 millimeters. Now I'm purposely going to accidentally forget to put that next one in and just hit enter. Whoops, I messed that one up, right? So you can always go back in and double click on those numbers and change them. All right, so we are fully defined. We're going to finish that sketch, and the instructions said to extrude that to 15 millimeters. So we're going to extrude that shape to 15 millimeters. All right, 2 things left to do. Next is we are going to add a 5 millimeter fillet to the edges between the rectangular prism and the cylinder. Let's do that. Fillet has 2 meanings, and it's not fillet. This is not McDonald's where we're getting a fillet of fish. It's called fillet. Which can either round over a sharp corner or it can fill in an inside corner. So we're filling in on this one. So we're going to click fillet up here. We're going to click all 4 corners. You actually can kind of do a magical see-through on this so you don't have to rotate it around. And it's going to be 5 millimeters. Okay. All right. So now we've got our rounded part. And the last thing we're going to do is create a chamfer. on the bottom. So this says add a 5 by 30 degree chamfer to the bottom of the cylinder. So it's, or 5 millimeters, excuse me, by 30 degree chamfer. So we're going to do that. So up here by fillet, there should also be, oh, it's not in the menu, but drop down that modify and we have chamfer. Click on chamfer, okay? We're going to click on this edge down here and it will chamfer it for us. Now it doesn't know what we want yet. We're going to have to change our type from equal distance, where we have to set in 2 distances, to a distance and an angle. That's what we need. So we need a distance of, I believe it was 5 millimeters, and an angle of not 45, but look up here. We're going to change that to 30 degrees. Now, let's take a look at this first. I'm going to kind of go to the front view and make sure that it's right. Actually, I'm going to click OK. I'm going to show you how to deal with this. And take a look at it. Whoops, that went the wrong way. It ended up going 30 degrees the other way and 5 millimeters up. So we need to change which way that is. Now, let's not start over. Let's just edit that feature. Down here on your timeline, the last thing we did was this chamfer. We can double click on that to edit it. Okay, so rather than redo everything, all we're going to do is say, hey, instead of going the way that we went, let's grab this arrow. Oops, that's not the way I wanted to go. There it is. Flip. We're going to flip which way it goes. There we go. And now it's going the right way. Okay. Finally, let's, I like to call this the socket. So let's go ahead and save this thing as your last name, first initial. Let's call it socket. Okay. Go ahead and kind of drag that over. It should say it right up here, and kind of drag that thing over by here and get a picture of where your name is and this and that object. It'd be nice if you tilted it a little bit too, so we can see that you did the fillets and all that. All right, good job. Next thing, you'll have to do some things a little bit more on your own.